This is pretty much for everybody besides, of course, the teacher who's in their profession. I was just interested in knowing what your profession is, when you're not Legoing.
I used to be an architect. I do home inspections now, but it varies between, do I do Lego in between home inspections, or do I do an occasional home inspection in between building Lego?
I'm retired now. I was a therapist and also a math and English teacher in juvenile justice for quite a while. And I did men's parole and probation. I used Lego in all those areas. And then the last 10 years of my career, I had a grant in a middle school. And it was called Lego STEM, and everyone wanted to get in it. You came for one period a day. You had counseling 1 day a week. You had group counseling for emotional skills, resilience, awareness. Another day a week, you had Lego free build, and you had tutoring, and you had Lego STEM. So everyone wanted in. You got in with children's services and juvenile justice. So I did that the last 10 years.
So I'm a full-time content creator on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. I have over 1 million on YouTube and 1 million on TikTok as well. So it's awesome. It's a dream come true.
I work in Hollywood in a writer's room. I am a script coordinator and like the canon researcher for a big sci-fi show that's coming out later this year.
NDA.
I was excluded from answering this question.
I am a cybersecurity engineer.
Well, if you ask my wife, Lego is all I do. I do occasionally do some artwork. I'll commission artwork and carpentry.
All right, you gotta know what I do.
How does it feel seeing yourselves on TV?
I don't know where that question come from. It was, it's definitely interesting. It's definitely surreal. It's very cool to see yourself on TV, number one, but then having lived that experience and going through the whole thing, and then you remember it a certain way, but then getting to see it several months later as like, it's almost like going through a scrapbook, memory book of your time there. So it's a lot of fun. Anyone who wants to try Lego Masters, I definitely recommend it.
Would definitely recommend attempting for the experience and hopefully making it. But something that bothers Lewis is that I've actually never seen any of our episodes. He doesn't believe it, but it's for the exact reason you just said. For me, I lived it, so I don't want that 12-hour experience of when I was actually in the studio to now be truncated to these 40 minutes that I may not believe to be the experience that I remember it as. So I actually haven't seen our season, so I don't know what it's like to see myself on TV.
That is crazy. But with me, it's like I'm used to like seeing myself on TV. You would think I would be like, because I make videos and I'm used to editing myself because I edit all my videos. So it's interesting to see myself in video form where I didn't do the editing. So it's different, it's a different style that I'm used to with seeing myself. So it's really, really cool to see that.
After the show, were any of y'all interested in pursuing a career with Lego? And if you did, how did that process look like?
I haven't thought about working for Lego itself, but I've done more commission models and things since then, and definitely interested in doing more. So I would like to work with Lego parts and making Lego sets and kits. I don't think at this point in my life I'm going to move to building them. Would have been exciting 20 years ago.
Yeah, I'm in a similar boat. Like it's not what I do, but before the show I was doing commissions, and now after I just decided that I'm just gonna focus more and more on that. I'm not sure if that's due to not really due to the show, more just my love of Lego, but yeah, it's a bigger chunk of what I do.
If I didn't do videos, I think that'd be like, let's say social media went down, I think it'd be super awesome to be a designer for Lego. I have had a few opportunities in the past where I worked for like Lego itself. Like you can find myself last year I worked for Lego to make a video, the April Fool's video that they did. So that was a super cool opportunity. And most recently I had an opportunity where I worked for Lego Fortnite to create a video, and that was super cool.
Yeah, I think similarly, the commission game is definitely expanded, after the show. But what that also required was kind of getting a different skill set than what I had previously. Starting to learn how to make instructions and build really big pieces that brands wanted, like big signs, 6-foot signs, or building custom sets, with instructions that are easy to follow and package them nicely and present them nicely. So those are all new skills that I picked up after the show, kind of in pursuing that commission building kind of game, which has been a lot of fun.
I don't know if you saw my blog, it has over 250 minifigs. I have about 10,000 minifigs right now. And I have a build station, and it's very portable, and I take it to parties and things. And mostly I do that on a volunteer basis, but I've been asked to do it for people that are local. And so I've done a whole bunch of that since the show.
Question here.
How did you get used to Will Arnett?
Will is awesome.
Do you get used to Will?
Will is so nice, and I can't speak for everybody, but the first time that he comes up to you, I was very nervous. I was shaking a little bit meeting somebody that's that famous, but then he makes you feel so comfortable right away. He's super warm, really nice guy, but also he's an improv comedian trying to do improv comedy with a bunch of people that have never done it before, a bunch of people that have no idea how to do comedy. So he's trying to make us funnier as he's doing all of his bits. He's like giving us the punchline, kind of like leading us, like, come on guys, we're making TV, make it funny, come on, let's do this. So he's kind of pushing you in a way to try to make it a better show for everybody.
And must have been the first episode Tim and I were on. Tim and I are both very friendly and cheerful, right? And he walked over and said, yeah, there's some talk about making you guys the villains on the show. And I was just totally stunned. I had nothing. I then burst out laughing. that would have been a great time for, a fantastic comeback, but I had nothing.
I'm sorry, but I'm hilarious. So Will and I got along swimmingly.
That was absolutely true.
Yeah, there were a few times where he was like, okay, we can't air this, you're taking it off the rails. Let's go back to the writers, like, you can't do this. But yeah, he was great. Super genuine, everything you see is really authentic. Like, he's really good.
Yeah, my partner Amy is really snarky and smart mouthed and quick with her repartee. I think of my best lines after I'm out the door 10 steps that evening. And so I was always like, when Will talked to us. Amy had to do most of the talking.
So the best part of those, half of what Will says is not for TV. So
But he gets you laughing.
he gets you having a good time. But yeah.
Question over here.
What was the most meaningful Lego set to you guys?
Okay. So, spoiler alert, we were eliminated, so if you haven't, watched the season yet. So I got back into Lego as an adult 15 years ago, kind of when the modular buildings came out, and those were originally started, and the first one was designed by Jamie, who was a judge on the show. So when we were eliminated, I was able to walk up to him and shake his hand and say, Jamie, the first set I bought for myself and as an adult was the Fire Brigade, which you had designed. There's a very clear path from you designing that, to me buying it, to me doing my own architectural mocks, to getting on the show, to being right here in front of you. And I could tell he really appreciated that. So I think that Fire Brigade is one that really stands out in my mind.
For me, it was definitely the Galaxy Explorer from when I was a kid. I played that, I built that and tore it down 1,000 times. I could build it without instructions. And that was definitely the set that got me down when I started me on my Lego journey. And I was very happy to build the new one a few years ago, or a couple years ago. And the original one is the centerpiece of my museum build. If you've ever seen that, it's a special place in my heart.
So I have sons and 2 daughters, and I bought Lego as a mom. I sorted while they built. I told them where to put things. I loved Lego as an educational toy for my own kids. Then I started using it at work, and I only bought what I needed that was appropriate for the kind of things I needed at work. In 2006, my son was overseas, and for his Christmas present, I was gonna give it to him when he got home. I bought the first holiday train. And I looked at the box, and I looked at the box. I went and I bought him something else. And I opened it, and I built it, and I didn't even know Lego had train track or motors or anything. I put it on my mantle, just sitting this cute little train, and the next year I found out there was track, there was motor, and I found out about brickling. That's how you order pieces. Luis over there was unkind enough while we were filming the show, super unkind enough to show me how to look on brickling, and I saw my lifetime spending. And I was surprised, but also I almost threw up a little bit in my mouth when I saw that I had spent, take a deep breath guys, $50,000 on postage for Lego. Don't tell my husband. He better not be asleep.
I think my favorite set, and the Wild West is my thing, as y'all can tell over there, but my mother-in-law in 2010 bought my son and I each a set for Christmas, and she got me the Creator. It's kind of a really nice brownstone built house, and that's what got me started on this journey. So that little set led to all of this, and that's why I'm forever grateful for that. To get to know all of you all and do these conventions, hang out with these people once in a while. So that's the set for me.
Anything castle for me.
Hey, so quick question about the finale build for those of you who are lucky enough to do it. I don't know if, I don't remember if anyone was, but for the finale, we all know how the show is structured. We know that the final episode is going to be a free build. Does anybody go into the show knowing what they're going to build for the finale episode, knowing exactly what build they want? Maybe they practiced it before, but have a plan going in and then execute it for the final episode.
I don't think there was anyone here who's in the finale, but from what I've heard from the people who are in the finale is that yes, they do tend to have a plan going in of what they want because they know that it's going to be a free for all. But that being said, our season was particular, and I know our teams in our season 2 got thrown for a loop because it was the only time in any Lego Masters season ever across the world that they asked teams to not only build whatever you want, but it has to have lights in it. So all the teams, I remember that we were talking to them afterwards, they had to rethink their entire build philosophy to make it somehow work with lights. So they all had these plans and then had to reinvent them. So that was a season 2 unique problem. Yeah, but I do know that they everybody likes to have a plan going in when they want to execute.
I think with
Yeah, a few ideas. I think it's safe to say that everybody planned.
I think one of the initial questions on the initial application is they ask you if you had a emergency time, what they would do. So they try to get you thinking right off the bat on what you want to do.
It's something I thought was kind of funny and like a behind the scenes thing is my sister and I, they had us like try on finale outfits, like for like just in case you make it to the finale, and they had to like look a certain way. They wanted them to be like sharper and different, and we thought that was kind of funny. And I was already wearing blazers the whole time, which was ridiculous anyway, but they just put me in a full-on suit as like the possible finale look, so that was kind of funny.
Actually, for season 4, it's a little different in that those of us that made it to certain close to the finale, I left in the 8th episode, because, although we didn't know this at the time, but because one of the prizes for winning was that your set would become an actual Lego pretty early on, start thinking about potential finale dates. And we had to share those with them. We had no idea why. In hindsight, I think they were trying to get feedback from Lego about, you know, maybe nudge us in certain directions, you know, but yeah, so they definitely made at least the season 4 people think about that a little earlier than normal.
Question over here.
What's your favorite part of the show that you've been in?
Your favorite part of the show?
My favorite part of the show was, without a doubt, easily getting to meet all my castmates. We got to spend so much time together. We got to, the time we spent on the show is actually when you're building, you're not really talking to your castmates too much. But when the building stops, we're staying in the same hotel, we're having dinner together, we're riding in the vans together, we're waiting in the break room together, and we did a lot of laughing, a lot of playing games, a lot of. So I don't know. I like to have some fun. So funny enough, Big Tim over here, who's got a size what, Tim? 13. Size 13. He's wearing it, right? No, there's a different. He wears a size 13 shoe. Conveniently enough for me, the same shoes that he wore just in the morning to leave the hotel and go to the set happened to be, the shoes that I wore every morning to go from the hotel to the set happened to be the same shoes that he was wearing on the show. The same sneakers. So I'm a size 10, he's a size 13. So one day I decide, I see him get his wardrobe and he gets his sneakers handed to him by the wardrobe department, and he starts putting on something and I go, it's time for me to smash. And I very casually swap them and then I record them. And this was a good solid 2 minutes of me laughing like I've never laughed before. He was like, he's just like, these are mine. There's no way these are on my shoes. I'm gonna get these on somehow. And he struggled for 2 whole minutes. He gets one on somehow. And the other one he's like trying and he can't. He just puts his foot down, he gives up. And then I feel like I gotta let him off the hook. But I'm crying. And I woke up and go, Tim, what's wrong? He goes, I think my feet swelled up last night.
I think Rodeo might be a good place to premiere that footage.
I can do that. I'm not supposed to, but it's on my phone. I can definitely do it. It's a really good time.
You know, here's the crazy part about my biggest foot is my left foot, and that's the shoe I got on. Because they're different sizes. I could not get the littler one on. So I was very relieved to find out it wasn't my shoe. I was thinking I'm going to have to be all day in these tight shoes.
His own shoes never felt so good.
That's right. I would also, second to meeting everybody, the hair and makeup and production crew were my favorite. All those people were just awesome. And it was so much fun every morning, seeing every one of them, hanging out with them, doing their thing. And we all loved them dearly, they loved us. So that was a great part of it too.
So I agree. Pip gave us our first talk when we got there, and she told us these people are going to be like your family. And I thought back then, I'm 67 years old. I have 7 kids. I have 24 grandkids. I have sisters and brothers and in-laws and outlaws. I have a lot of people that are already in my tight circle, and I did not believe her. And I was wrong. And my season is like, they're like brothers and cousins and sisters. It's amazing. But I also want to say one other thing. I did audition with my son, and he's a big builder, a big AFOL. And we got on, and then they found out his wife was going to have a baby during the filming. And he got uninvited fast because they did not want him to be away from his family. They care a lot, I think, about us and our families most of the time, except when they're not whipping us. But I ended up with a friend who sent me a Lego meme, and then they contacted her, and we have really good chemistry, and we're really close friends. We ran our first marathon together. But after the first we went to wardrobe. We talked about wardrobe, and they're like, "Oh, we have to go buy something. We don't have anything for the second episode." So we knew that the grandmas were there to fill a demographic and lose. So we're really proud that we did not die on the first episode.
We have a question.
Have you ever broke something that you spent hours building?
Yes. Raise your hands, guys. Yes.
So, yeah, it's happening at home all the time. In the second episode, the kitten one, everybody else rolled their tables to the back. Tim and I carried ours because we remembered one of those earlier seasons when they had been rolling the table and the tower fell off, and because of all the bricks on the floor. And I remember about a half hour from the time being done in that one. I said to Tim, do you think we can carry this? And we just kind of lifted it up and looked at each other and said, yeah, let's do that. So we carried that one to try to make it a little safer.
I actually never broke anything on the show, but my partner did. This did not come out of the show. But those of you who remember the show that saw episode 5, which was Is It Brick? We had to make a replica. 6? If you guys remember, Christopher and Robert built a desk chair, a really big desk chair, and they did an amazing job. And they were building to the last second. As a matter of fact, my partner Alex was helping them at the end to get that chair settled on the legs and everything. So after we were done building, we had to take the build that we had, we had to take that object out of the set, and then we had to put our version, our Lego version, in ourselves. So we did a record player, and I walked in to put our record player back, and a little piece falls off, and it's behind the desk. Alex is behind me for some reason. When he sees that the piece falls off, he decides to bend down and get it, and his butt hits Christopher Roberts' chair, and that thing went down like a house of cards. Just and I was dying. I thought, oh my God, I don't know what's gonna happen here. We're gonna get thrown out of the show. They're gonna arrest us. I don't know what's gonna happen here. Christopher and Robert, to their credit, were laughing the whole time. I don't know how, because I would have been crying. They were laughing. They're like, don't worry about it. It's fine. I'm like, it's fine. Like, what do we do here? Judging is like in an hour. So somehow Christopher and Robert and the crew, they all got together and they were able to put it back together and things like that. That was, in hindsight, very funny, but at the time, not funny at all.
So, with our season, me and Donald, our journey was a roller coaster. And with our second episode, the dog episode, that one, I loved the build, but we were supposed to roll it across the dog walk, and that did not go well for us. So we had to ended up breaking, and I don't know how they were like, okay, you all have a few minutes to set it up, and we're all have to do it. So I was like, okay, look, we gotta do this. And we ended up, because the neck ended up breaking, the legs ended up falling, so we ended up putting everything back together. We had to carry it across the dog walk. So that was the most awkward part of Lego Masters, was having to walk across. Like I'm very happy. I always smile. But that's the only time you see serious, even just, oh man. So we ended up not going home that episode, which is like that. So yeah, that was an experience.
Over here.
Memorable or funny moment that we didn't get to see on TV?
So for me, I think it was probably the last episode that we were on. All the way through, I've been consciously kind of keeping an eye on the clock because I know they like to do the time calls. 1 hour left, flash the lights, make it loud and everything. I'd even heard from Moto, it was on season 2, said, yeah, watch that clock, so you don't get surprised. So usually I had been, and I kind of nudged Tim and said, yeah, 1 hour's coming up. The last build, we were completely scrambling. I mean, we knew we were in trouble. We were fighting it and throwing parts on. I completely lost track of time. And 1 hour left, I literally jumped in the air. I got a good 6 inches in the air. And I looked, and right here was a camera positioned so it could see me and the clock together. And I looked over and said, did you get that? The guy laughs and says yes. I thought, that for sure is going to make it on the show. So I jumped in there and said,
So in our season, for one of our episodes, is the one hanging brick challenge where we had to build something off of a single hanging brick. Will came over and he said, "I want to call your mom." And so he got my sister's phone out of holding and he called my mom. And then my mom actually picked up and Lauren was quickly like, "Hi Mom, you're on Lego Masters, this is Will Arnett." And then she just gave him the phone and then they had like a whole conversation, Will and my mom. And he asked her if I had always worn blazers my entire life. No. And he asked if we used to fight as siblings, and my mom was just having the greatest time. Like, Will was super nice. He then the rest of it was like a running gag the rest of the season. He would always ask how our mom was. He'd be like, "Hey, how's Margie?" And he would just want to like check in on our mom the whole time. So that all kind of got cut. That was kind of like our thing with Will. It's like Will wanted to be part of our family. He was like the extra sibling. And that didn't make it to air, but that was a really fun memory. And we still joke about that with our mom, that she actually talked to Will Arnett on the phone, on speaker, for all the contestants to hear on set. Yeah, she knew we were on the show, but she hadn't heard from us. You know, you're kind of like on lockdown a little bit when you're on the show, so that was like kind of, she thought something was wrong, you know, that Lauren was calling. She was like kind of picked up nervous, like, "Hey, like, what's going on?" It's like, "Hey, here's Will." And I was like, "Oh, Margie." That was great.
We have a question here.
When the alarm went off, the flashing lights, and when it hit 1 hour, how stressful was that?
How stressful was the 1 hour mark for you all?
So that is also legitimate. That there's no real warning. You're in game mode. You're trying to build, focusing on getting it complete because they're always coming back with critique. You know, "Oh, you need more color. Hey, what's your story? You don't really care for that right now. Maybe go in a different direction." So you're always pivoting. And when that 1 hour comes on, all the alarms, it's like a nuclear siren going off. It feels like a post-apocalyptic movie. But yeah, very, very genuinely stressful for that.
That explains why you have to watch your season that you don't want to.
Yeah, like, look, I'm already a veteran. Like, I don't want to hear. Like, I already have PTSD. I don't want to go to that tour.
Well, what's funny with our season I guess was a little different because every time before something dramatic like that, they would go, big reactions, and then it would go. So it's like, me and Dom always make fun of big reactions, even outside of the show. It's like, it's really cool how, I guess each season is different, so.
Were y'all given any tapings of the shows?
No. Not that we can say. No, I'm just joking.
No. They basically, once filming was done, basically you knew nothing until the first trailer came out. For us, that was about, at least in our season, about 3 months in between. 4 months, yeah.
And the end of the show was airing?
Between
April, September?
Well, July was the first trailer.
Oh, the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first trailer came out actually at Rodeo. We were at Rodeo.
Was it?
They had the Rodeo. Right, well, they put the trailer, but we couldn't say it was us. We had to be like, I guess that kind of looks like me. We weren't allowed to say we were on the show, even after they released the trailer, so it was kind of weird.
Yeah, when the show was aired, that was the first time we saw it. We did not get a preview aired.
But no, even after the show, we don't get the recording, so I had to like, somewhat, police here, I had to illegally download the episodes off the internet.
You know, one thing that was really funny is that first, like, in the Lego Master trailers, me and Dom were actually in them when we weren't supposed to be announced yet. So that was really cool that's me! So I was like, some people were able to figure it out. So I got some messages, it was like, oh, what show?
There's a question here.
Who's the better builder?
Who's the better builder of you all?
That's all subjective. You know, there's probably, it's all subjective. What is your favorite builder of us?
You.
Me? Yes! I think that answers it.
No further questions.
I mean, you can see the show here, the huge variety of things that people build with Lego parts. And we are all different builders and have different strengths, different weaknesses, and build differently. So yeah, you can't just say one is better than the other.
I don't know who said
And we've all changed and we've all grown because we've interacted with each other. That Lifestar I took to Brooksville last year, right when I was first finishing it. And Jordan was there, who's Chris's partner. And he helped me make it more portable, more modular, more transportable. And then I took it to BrickCon. And when I was at BrickCon, Kelly said, if you do this, if you do this, if you do this, it will work better. So it changed and it evolved after the show was over because I was on the show. And all of us have strengths that all of us have learned from, like you said. And, you know, if you want to go frenzy and girly and colory and minifiggy, I got these guys beat hands down. And maybe Winter Village, maybe not. But you want to do castle, we have people who do castle. So we have our niche, but we also are super open and learning from each other. Would you agree?
Oh yeah, 100%.
So I was gonna say, I'm actually very competitive to the awesome X-Men 97 shirt that asked the question. How about you just come back tomorrow? We'll do this panel's from noon to 1. At 1, we'll just do a 30-minute challenge. You wish the challenge, and we'll decide who's the better go.
I have a challenge. So I made a little LM for the guys from my season. Did you guys see it? So they've got it on their builds. I have enough parts to build 4 more. I think we should throw them on a table and make these guys build. What do you think? So maybe tomorrow after the
I'm in.
I'm almost blind anyway.
Hi, I have a question since I speak. I'm interested to know how many ailments or injuries or any type of that sort happened during the time frame you were working on your creation. And did they provide you like masseuses, or anything like that?
Thank goodness.
The married couples had each other, period. So, this is for real?
Yeah, we're real.
For absolute real?
Yeah, misogynist.
Yeah, does anybody know what Voltaren is? My fingers, how, like, arthritic thing about it? I was living in the Voltaren prescription, it's not prescription anymore, it used to be, to keep my fingers flexible. Yeah, and I did it full on. They moved a camera as I was crossing each other, and I T-boned a guy's foot and went flat on my back. And when I woke up, I think Luis or Alex was above my face. And the cameraman was going, "Stay out of the frame, stay out of the frame. We're on our face." So I thought I was gonna get chilled flat on my back with the scars. But Luis, fine. Did you help me or did Alex? Somebody. Yeah, I was.
I was right there with it, but they were saying it anyway, so I just kind of, okay. But yeah.
Somebody finally helped me up. I was just like.
For our hat challenge, where we had to walk the hats down the runway, we were wearing at least 20 pounds of Lego with those sharp edges all around your forehead. So they did give people like beanies to wear to protect you, but still, we had multiple people that were on the show have cuts on their forehead that were actually bleeding afterwards. And the makeup team had to rush over and try to make them look pretty before judging. And then like afterwards, you kind of see like the blood would start to drip down. Really freaky. Yeah, it's
Lego master scars.
Yeah, summer for your arts. Yeah, so that was probably the most dangerous challenge that we had in our season.
Yeah, but so more to answer your question directly, they are very aware of what things each of us deal with. The carts behind us might have certain medications or things that we might need to take throughout the day. There's also, and Karen can attest to this, there's issues with like allergies. Some people were allergic to cats in our season, which is a problem. There were some injuries, and they have a great medic on hand all the time. If like Melanie cut her leg at one point, and they were able to patch that up really quick. So things happen like that. And of course, unfortunately for us, Poppy got sick during our season. Poppy had to leave the show, unfortunately. They take really good care of her. the most part. We did not get massages like Ethan's.
We did, yeah. And you had to be very aware of Christopher running, because he was like, if you saw how energetic, hyper he was, that was true. I mean, he comes flying behind you there, and you had to watch every time you turn around. That would have been a disaster if he hit me.
We have another question.
Set.
Your first set.
I got a set of town minifigures when I was 3 years old, and it had a little pizza chef, it had a cat, it had a bike, and that was by far my favorite toy I'd ever gotten at that point. And that kickstarted my love of Lego. I brought those minifigs on every single family trip, and then it just ballooned from there and started to get more and more stuff.
So I don't know if it's actually my first set, but I did have the original Yellow Castle, which I do still have, and still love. It's not put together anymore, but I still have the box. It's in terrible condition. But yeah, still have everything for it, and I love that set.
Come on, Tim, I know what your first set was. Yeah.
Oh, what? I don't remember.
570 Fire Station.
Oh, no. That's different. The Fire Brigade is the modular from 15 years ago. That's the one I was talking about earlier. I did have that one. I don't know if that was my first set, but that was definitely an early one. But yeah, mid-70s, fire, police, yeah.
In 1964, my brother got a set, and it was only blocks, and they were red and blue and white, the only colors Lego came in then. And I traded something I got for Christmas, and that was the first set that was mine. And I got it from him to make a frame for a doll.
My first set was probably just a few years later than hers. It was still the same red, blue, and white, but we could make trains then. They actually had little train wheels and the blue rails and the white. You made the track yourself.
Question over here.
Oh, so one of my first sets was back in 2008. I was 5. I am 2000. So 2008, me and my brothers got the Republic gunship. You know, from like and that's one of the coolest sets ever. So I grew up very close. I grew up homeschooled and very close with my family. And my mom's over there. So yes, but yeah, 2008 Republic gunship. Awesome set. What was your question?
Yeah, I had a question about the wardrobe. Do you take it out, or do they pick it out for you? How does it work?
So how it usually starts is like they tell you to bring some stuff. Like this blue jacket was actually mine. So basically they had us pack a whole bunch, and then they had a whole bunch of other clothes that they allowed us to grab. And I remember something that was really fun. Me and Don, they first gave us these huge jackets, I guess being these stereotypical high schoolers, I guess what they wanted. So they gave us these huge jackets, and I was like, you know what? How about no? So yeah, but
We gotta go to Chris.
So speaking about wardrobe, didn't make it very far into the show, but by far had the most wardrobe changes for the show for my time there. I want to say as you were saying, they provide you some outfits. They want to see what you look like. They're like, okay, you bring some of your own stuff. They're like, all right, that's a cool look, but get something that's similar, keep you kind of comfortable, or just in the theme that they want your team to be in. I'm gonna say somewhere after about 46 wardrobe changes for me, the very next morning, they finally send me home or to the hotel, and everyone else comes back to the hotel and they're like, so what do you think about that purple outfit they had for you? And I was like, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, there's a purple sweater that they want you to wear on an episode. And I said, purple's not really my color, but I'll take a look at it tomorrow. And they're like, oh, I think you're gonna feel a certain way about it.
all I'm going to say is I am so glad I was eliminated because I was not wearing what was next. It was all purple and like fluffy.
And so I finally get to the set the next day, and then like, we have a few more outfits for you to try on. And I try on the first 5, and they bring out this, and I'm like, I am not wearing that on television. This will not happen. I'll take photos of it, it's fine. But what happened was, I tried it on, I said, I'm not wearing this, and I started putting it in other people's wardrobe racks. And I was putting their name on it. And what happened, what's funny is that every other cast member said, I'll wear it on an episode. And so every other cast member pretty much has a photo with this in it. Everybody, except for me. And I was like, I'm not taking photos of this.
So yeah, since we all took our pictures, we all, actually this started in season 3, I think, the challenge coin. So we all had coins made from our season, and the back of ours is the purple sweater, torso. And it laughed, it basically says the one with the purple sweater. So that was our special, like, unifying theme.
So just the last thing on the sweater, so when you do get eliminated, everything that you have worn is now yours. You get to leave with it. But because I actually never wore this on set, it still belongs to the studio. However, when I was eliminated, the wardrobe crew were fairly sad because, like, as everyone said, we grew very close with everyone. The entire production staff, every team is phenomenal, and I hate that they don't get enough credit because obviously these people you'll never see. But when I'm getting eliminated, she's like, just take whatever you want. I'm so sad that you're leaving. Take whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna take anything. I'm mad that I'm leaving too. And I was like, wait a second. No, I'm gonna take the purple sweater. I just grabbed her there, and she's like, go ahead.
We're glad you did. On the wardrobe, so we were lucky because I've worn old overalls all my life, and I actually wore them the very first Zoom call we did in season 1 when we tried out. And I guess somewhere along the line they decided that's what our look was going to be, and Tim embraced it, and so we were lucky. We didn't have too many problems. They did buy me a lot. I don't wear t-shirts as a rule. I wear tank tops all the time. And they didn't quite, I couldn't convince them to let me do the tank top. So they bought me all these nice t-shirts. So that was my...
Lego doesn't endorse guns, remember?
Yeah, because I do home inspections, you know, I'm looking at the overalls and think, well, try them out. And I actually went and bought this pair of overalls and wore it while I was working. Thought, it's great. Got pockets everywhere for the tools, you know, keeps it safe up in the attic and all that. And so this actual set of overalls I wore on inspections, wore on the show, and have since worn on inspections, and now I don't get these things here. And you know, we came up with the joke of putting the tin in here so you could tell us apart.
So on us, they wanted us. I'm 16 years older than Amy, and I was. They were trying to age her. They put these sweaters on us, and they put chains on our glasses. You can never see the chains on your glasses, but they turned both of our ears purple and gray and green behind them. And the sweaters, like your jackets, they hang down and they smack when you wear them. And so we said, we can't wear these. They go, whoa, we're in problem. They're filming the whole time. So the whole episode they're going, put your jackets back on, put your sweaters back on, put your sweaters back on. And if you take them off, you have to take them off on camera. And so we say, I'm taking my sweater off. And they go, my God. And we probably took them off 100 times.
We have a question here.
You guys share the process of sending in your application to being interviewed, to being chosen? And then the second part of the question is, how many people did you compete against for each different season?
So we're not really supposed to talk about casting very much, but it's a lengthy process of online applications, video calls, sending in photos, videos, repeat, do it again, and again, and again, and again, and again.
But there's you know, every season that they go start casting, there's a website that you can go to and submit your application, and they'll follow up with you. They're really good at that. But also, if you're, let's say you build a lot and you put your stuff like on Instagram or TikTok, they might find you there and reach out to you as well. So there's definitely a lot of ways in which to do it. But the process is just like Tim described.
And if you're interested, we can tell you where to apply and get you connected.
And one thing that will be coming out is Lego Masters Junior. So if you're like, if you're under the age of, I think, 18, apply for that. I think that's going to be like this. I don't know, like Lego Master Junior, so anybody, any kid, so I would apply for that, that would be awesome.
Question over here.
What does it feel like winning?
None of us know that.
Spoiler alert.
Thank you very much.
What is one like build concept or like type of build that you want to do on the show one day?
I didn't hear that. Can you repeat that question?
What is one type of build that if you were that you would want to do on another show or on the show if you had a chance?
So, I would love, like, an idea that I've had is like a large scale kitchen, not chicken, but kitchen with like food characters coming to life. That's an idea. I was like, you know, that'd be fun, kind of a mixture of me and Dom's building skills. So maybe one day. So we'll see.
I always love the theme challenges, like when they did Star Wars in the first season, or we saw Jurassic World in the third season. I know Lego does a lot with Harry Potter. That would be cool to see a Harry Potter castle building challenge. I'm a massive Lord of the Rings fan. I doubt that would end up on Lego Masters, but wow, that would be the coolest thing ever if they did a Lord of the Rings themed Lego Masters challenge.
Question over here.
Are any of y'all working on something?
I'll speak for myself, but I imagine most of us are. We always have ideas. Sometimes I'm working on more than one build at the same time. Sometimes I start one and abandon it. There's always new ideas. We're always trying to shuffle those and you know.
I'm going to add something to that I've discovered. I procrastinate, and I wait till the very last minute to do anything. And that obviously was a big help. You learn to build under pressure. So procrastinate. That's what you need to do.
We're scheduled to go till 1, which is 5 minutes from now. I'm happy to stay around. I don't know about any of the rest of you. I don't know if the rest of you want to stay longer. So, I'd say feel free to keep asking questions as long as we're up here. If we get tired, we'll walk away. We have a question here.
If you were to get cast on the Holiday Bricktacular, who would your dream celebrity be?
So for me, honestly, it already happened. I haven't seen it, but I heard that he was there and I was upset I wasn't called for it. Was Marshawn Lynch.
So on my season, y'all may know that Chris Pratt was in episode 2, but we appear at the end of episode 3, so we miss Chris Pratt. So it's like, so I would love maybe one day Chris Pratt, me and Chris, just maybe one day. That's the dream.
But you have Chris Conway right
Yeah, oh yeah. I got the better Chris. That's the level 3 Chris. You are that.
One over here.
2 questions.
When did you get interviewed during the when you got interviewed during the episode? Did you do it during or at the very end?
Yeah, you're talking about those little clips during the episode that they show where you're talking about the build. That happened after the episode. And it was a little challenging because they want you to talk about present tense, like you're actually there in the moment. And so the producers, they're prompting you and they're saying, okay, at this point, Will walks out and you see a whole bunch of kittens. What are you thinking? And I'm thinking, kittens everywhere. Oh my God, so yeah, they did that afterwards.
And I guess our season was a little different because sometimes they would rush me, especially if something like crazy happened, they would kind of rush you in the interview room to get your initial reaction at first. Because sometimes they would talk about things you want their raw reaction sometimes. So sometimes, because me and Dom were in and out, I feel like all the time. Because they didn't know it was a new idea, I guess, with us, and they wanted to have as much B-roll to kind of change whatever their agenda was with us.
Yeah, so if there's something that's emotional, like maybe you're sad or something that happens, they want to rush you in, like you said, to do it. But normally they do it days later, or even sometimes they might, when they start editing and creating the narrative, they might want to fill in some of those gaps. So you might go back even weeks later. But they have, so each team has somebody like called a story producer who's watching and writing down basically everything that you're doing and everything that you're going through, and if you have a problem, they make notes. So sometimes you forget what happens, and they're like, well, this is, and they'll remind you, like, well, that's right, that happened, so you can talk about it. But everything we tell them is basically true. Sometimes if it's funny, they might like try and crack a joke or something, but in terms of what you're saying happened to you, how you're feeling, that's all true. It's just, maybe it wasn't that present moment, but happens after the fact.
One more question here, and then I think we'll end up with
Thanks for the presentation.
How long did they tell you to expect to be away from home?
About 2 months is what I remember.
7 weeks.
And our last question.
Okay, that was one of my questions, was about how long. So I guess just time off of that, when you're eliminated, do they keep you there in the hotel if they send you straight home? All right, second off then, my biggest question, we know how 2 of y'all got your partners for the show, but how did the rest of y'all meet your building partners and decide to apply together and things like that?
Tim and I have been friends for 10 years, doing plays together in Houston, and we just sort of got together and said, hey, should we do this? Sure.
So,
What's funny, like, but me and Dom had never met, like, because they reached out to Dom and Dom reached out to me, and we barely knew each other. It's like we were kind of like, we saw each other on the FYP page on TikTok. And Dom reached out to me and said, hey, you're a builder. You want to do this? And I so didn't think we would make it. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's give it a shot. So I was like, after, they give us build challenges and all that, we eventually, we meet basically because of LEGO Masters, and now he's my closest friend. So it's, LEGO Masters created that, friendship, which is really cool. And with all of these guys, we would never have met if it wasn't for, being on the show, which is super cool.
yeah, so I met my partner while I was in Afghanistan. He homeschooled a kid in Alaska, moved to Pacific Northwest, happened to meet on a Lego castle forum, just randomly. I was coming out of my dark ages during my second second year in Afghanistan, and I just started having minifigs and sets just shipped out there, and just foot lockers where you would think I would have a lot of battle rifle and military gear, and there was just Lego sets. It was insane. So yeah, he and I just been out there training because I was just trying to collect more stuff that I had missed out on. And yeah, he and I have been friends for 15 years now at this point. So yeah.
So when season 1 hadn't come out yet, I went to a Lego themed pop-up bar that I saw in downtown LA, and there were casting people that were like roaming around and taking down names. And I was there with some friends, and they kind of pushed me forward, like, you're the guy, you should do it. And so they asked who my partner would be, and one of my friends jokingly said, your mom. And I said, actually, yeah, my mom would be an awesome partner. So I wrote her down, and they never contacted us. It's just like, you write your name down, sheet of paper, never heard from them again. Then season 2 came around, and I saw just an ad on Facebook, and I messaged my sister, who I'd been building with, for a long time. We always built sets together growing up. When she was building Belleville or Lego Friends, I'd be building right there with her. And so, I sent her a message, and then we ended up doing it together. And it was a really, really awesome sibling bonding time for the 2 of us. And we've always been close growing up, so she ended up being the perfect partner.
All right, I think we need to wrap that up. So thank you very much for coming. Thanks for coming to the rodeo. So we will